I begin today by acknowledging the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, traditional custodians of the land on which this podcast is recorded today. Also pay respects to the elders past and present, and extend that respect to any other Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people who may be listening today. This is Melanated in Melbourne, a podcast designed to give an insightful look into the Australian lifestyle from the lens of two Black American besties. All right, welcome back, Mel Nation. My name's Ri'chard.
And I'm Nicole.
And this is Melanated in Melbourne.
Melanated in Melbourne.
And today, it honestly never gets old. It's one of my favorite. We're going to make a soundbite of it at some point. We won't know how to put it into the machine, but we'll figure it out.
Because sometimes having to
don't
sing...
Don't do my girl like that.
Okay,
that was great. Okay?
No,
that was
well,
top
thank
tier.
you.
Oh, no.
Thank you, baby.
That was creme to the creme. That was funk raw, you know? That was a delicacy.
Thank you, boo. It's just sometimes when we pull up to the studio on recording days, she doesn't, it's just a little bit, a little dusty,
You're a little parched.
A little parched. I don't want you out my water. I know. I was running.
Are you Beyonce?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, I was trying to hold back on my Beyonce references because some people say I make them too much. I know, exactly. It's like, but.
No one says these things. Nicole is making herself. She chooses her own battles against herself.
Tell them that this ain't Texas, okay? Ain't no hold 'em.
Ain't no hold 'em.
You just drop all the references you want.
Yes.
Down.
Well, we probably should introduce our very special guest because we just jumped into it.
That's all right. No, I love it. I love this energy already off the top.
Oh, absolutely. So we are joined today by the one and only fantastic chef Mary Lou.
Oh my God! Calm down. This for me.
Oh,
yes.
All of that and more, 1,000%. So one of the things we're actually trying out with the podcast is obviously a lot of our guests have been in Australia or they're in Melbourne, but there's going to try a bit of a segment called Melanated International instead of Melanated in Melbourne. So basically popping around, just talking to melanated folks who are doing the damn thing wherever they are. And we do talk a lot of shit about America on this podcast, but we want to highlight some of the great things that are happening in America. And we couldn't think of anyone better than to start with you. For one,
oh, that's so nice.
Honestly, it's so true. It's true. My favorite thing is the cosplay. We're going to go into that later, but the cosplay, oh my God, just top tier, always brings it.
Yes.
Chef's kiss. Well, also with the fact you're a fantastic chef and your crossovers, we'll get into all the things.
Multifaceted.
Hyphened, all the way through the hyphens, all the things. How are you, Mary? Obviously, it is almost 10 p.m. for you in San Francisco, so thank you so much for joining us, first of all.
Yes, thank you for holding on.
Oh, you're welcome. Honestly, I'm always used to talking to Frankie at this time or vice versa, so I don't know if he told you, because Ri'chard and I know each other because of college, and so we have another friend in common, and her name is Frankie, and she's just never in the same time zone as me, so right now she's in Spain, so we're not talking at her 10 and my 1, we're talking at my 12 and her 9, and I'm used to it.
Oh, that's so
good.
The time zones will definitely get you. I mean, having been here for about 7 years, my watch tells me what time it's in LA and what time it's in Barcelona. So I am with you right there. The entire time, oh, wait, do I call someone now? It's 3 a.m., carry the one. What day is it? Is it Mother's Day still? It's a lot of back and forth.
Feel that. My Google is that where I'm always just hey, Google, what time is it in Barcelona? Or what time is it in Spain? Or if I type on my phone, what time? And it'll finish it for me. And I'm I can call her.
Yeah. We absolutely love that. Speaking of college and our younger days, I wanted to ask the floor, what were you like in high school? Do you want to start, Nicole?
God, what was I like in high school? Okay, so I went to a performing arts high school to just kind of paint a picture there, and then but I was in the dance program. So
that tracks. Anyone who knows Nicole knows that absolutely tracks.
I'll just be dancing or stretching. I can one of the two at all times. So I guess it's most of my life revolved around the dance program and the musicals and stuff. So a theater kid. Wow. What a mystery.
Surprising everyone.
Surprise. She was loud as she was back then as she is now.
Our mics are on different volumes. If you look at the dial, we have Nicole turned down because it goes
all the way out.
Listen, I'm in the red.
Especially during laughs. Just stay in the red.
I stay in the red. But yeah, I guess I was a theater kid. I wouldn't say shy and I wouldn't say loner, but I probably was a bit more reserved. Like I have a really, really good friend, my girl Sherry. Shout out to Sherry. And we were really good friends all through high school. So listen, she holds it down. We're still friends to this day. Just infinite SpongeBob references. She's one of those friends that...
Oh, that's the best.
Yes, so good. So good.
It's like, I feel like SpongeBob was never that funny until you start quoting it with your friends.
Yes!
And then he's fucking hilarious.
And crying, laughing. Oh, my God. And then we went to see the SpongeBob movie together and everything. Like, she was like my main best friend, but we also had friends within the musical program. But she's one of those good friends that when we do hang out, it's like no time has passed. No time has passed.
You gotta cherish those friendships, absolutely.
So shout out to Sherry if she's listening.
She better be listening if y'all still close. Like, if you're not spamming your friends at our startup, then you're not doing it right.
Correct.
That's true. That is so true.
What about you, Mary? What were you like in high school? Because we met in high school, but we didn't really know each other till college. Because I left MacArthur like when I was like 15 to go back to Dallas, which was also terrible. But how would you describe yourself in high school?
Well, because after you left, I left too. So I went from like MacArthur, and then I went to Wagner. And like for those of you who don't know, which is probably every single one of your listeners, MacArthur is on the Northeast District where all like the white people are. And there's a couple of black people sprinkled in. And then I got picked up and I got moved to the high school that was in the hood. And so it was because the houses were cheaper over there. My mom bought her first house, so then I moved to Wagner, and I had never seen so much gold teeth and colorful weeds in my entire life. I didn't know what to do. My mother gave me a test, a 100-question test that she wrote herself, and then she also gave me scenarios so that I wouldn't come off naive in front of people. And so one of the scenarios that she gave me was she would make me hold on to my godbrother, and we'd walk, and she'd push me out of the way, and she goes, "What are you doing with my man?" And I was like, "Mom, I don't want to play this game." She's like, "Oh, I'm not your mom." And I was like, "No, Mom, please do not have me do this." And she goes, "I'm not your mom, so why are you with my man?" I was like, "He didn't tell me he had a girlfriend." She's like, "Exactly, because boys will lie to you."
Running hood drills.
She traumatized me. And
running hood drills.
The first couple of months that I went to high school, and then maybe like 4 years ago, I was the best man at one of my friends' weddings who I met in high school. And he was like, "Before I get the microphone over to Mary, I just want you to know that Mary didn't like black people when I first met her in high school." Don't do that.
Why would he say that? Why would he say that?
I was like, I did not like black people. I was just scared.
Oh my God.
But, you know, other than that, in high school, I was very similar to you. Like, I've always been loud. I was always getting kicked out of class for talking.
Yes. Oh, my God.
I always had a bunch of friends. I was no trouble, and I was really popular, but I wasn't cool. I was, like, popular because I was friendly. Yes. But I was in, like, drama club and the debate team, and I was the president of student council, and I was the homecoming queen, but everybody just knew me. I was not cool.
Yes, I feel like being cool is overrated.
1,000%.
In my opinion.
I think so too.
In my opinion, I think it's just like there's so much. It's funny because being cool makes it look like there is no effort. It makes it look like you don't care, but it turns out you care a lot because you're constantly worried about like the perception of what people think of you, and so you like do certain things, and it's just like, yeah, man, I couldn't imagine having to live my life like that.
No, that's no way to live.
I want to be free.
My high school experience is cut into two pieces because my first 2 years was at MacArthur where I kind of like tried to come out of my shell a little bit to mixed results. Like that was the first time I ever like stayed over at someone's house. I was like 15, so I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Because my mom was very protective. Like I know she's listening, and you know what you did.
Shout out to Mama. Shout out to Mama.
But no, we were just talking about the podcast earlier today because her birthday just passed. So
I was
happy
just
belated.
Say it's her birthday, so don't do her.
Right, I meant to tell you that because your mom's birthday is March 15th?
Yeah, March 14th. But yeah,
because my mom's birthday was today too, and hers is the 15th. And I was like, do our moms have the same person.
Oh, that's so cute.
I mean, that's pretty.
So close.
That's so close. It's pretty much. We'll say it is. We'll merge those 2 days for the moment and just like make it a super day and have the whole thing.
It's Pisces Day.
It's Pisces. I mean, it was Pi Day, so like pi and then 0.13457. I don't know how many numbers. Carry on with it.
Okay, you better rap. Let's go.
I might have made those up. Please, no one fact check me because I never learned.
If you say it confidently enough, and we'll all believe you, I was
Exactly.
like, yeah,
It's like-
Pythagorean theorem, cosine.
Google it. Exactly. But so for the first couple of years, I was like, oh, cool, fancy, whatever. But I think I came out to some of my friends right before I left, and I was like, oh, this is going to be great. And then I moved to Mesquite High School, where a lot of like Mesquite.
Like the barbecue?
Yes, like the barbecue. Mesquite Skeeters were our mascot.
Mesquite Skaters.
I knew.
All skate. All skate.
But so it was very much similar to you. You moved to Wagner, but Mesquite was like where there was a lot more black kids than I ever seen in my life. Well, actually, when I was in California, black kids were everywhere at my like early growing up schools. But for most Texas schools, they were just super white. So when I moved to Mesquite, it was like Black Central everywhere, and I was like, I was a junior. I'm like, I don't want to do this. So actually, it was really dumb. I'm going to drag myself for a moment. I got to know some of these people, and I came out through a text message. It was like, hey, I'm gay. I don't really care to know you. If you don't like me, cool, great, whatever. But that's who I am, and we're done here. And there were some people who reacted really well to that, and I had like 3 friends. And the people who did not, I was bullied. So it was better just get it out of the way rather than to wait for it. But high school is definitely a time where I was more of a wallflower than anything else. And then when I got into UNT, which is where we met, I was like, this is who I'm going to be. I got into a liberal arts college. The pamphlet made it look really, really gay, and I'm like, yes, this is my moment. This is where I'm going to shine. This is where I'm going to stretch my wings and fly. And I did. So there was a follow-up question to the high school thing. The reason I asked that, would you currently have been friends with your high school self?
Oh, yeah, we
absolutely.
would have been best friends.
Same. I even
That
feel
bitch
like
is awesome.
yeah, exactly. Period. I feel like I would have been friends with you too, Mary. I feel like we would. I feel we
Y'all
would
would
cut
have
up.
been kicked out
Out
of everything. You could never sit
We
together.
couldn't have no classes together. We couldn't have no classes together, but we would cut up in the hallway.
Separated us.
They would.
Different sides of the whole school. It's like, nope,
Yes.
over
They're
there.
like, no,
Yeah.
you two go on this side. We have to text each other. I'd be like, 25.
That's great.
I am.
Oh, that'd be so funny. But I think my other favorite thing, because as like the loud friends, I feel like I befriend the quiet people as well. Because like I mentioned before, my friend Sherry, she was the quietest girl in class, and I went up to her. I'm like, hey, we gonna be friends.
It's like the extrovert collecting the introverts. I'm like,
Correct.
You're coming with me now.
Totally.
Oh, it works.
Totally.
I think that's so funny. That's how I was with my best friend in high school. Her name is Shannon. And then we would have like our own SpongeBob quotes together, and we would hang out all the time. And I still talk to her to this day. She like really helps me run my website. She's always been so good at like behind the scenes things. And I was like, man, Shannon, you're amazing.
Oh.
Feels like Aspen now though.
Ooh,
Not
Aspen.
cool like that.
Ooh, la la.
Okay.
Okay, Shannon.
Word. Well, what if you hosted a podcast with her? Would that like go off? Like, or is she not really the kind of hop in front of the mic?
I don't think that we would do well on the podcast together. So before you got here, I was telling Ri'chard that I wanted to have my own podcast, but I don't know if I can hold it by myself. Like, I go on rants and I talk about random stuff, but I feel like people would want to hear something and not just hear me go off about, you know what happened to me yesterday? This son of a bitch came up to me. Like, I don't think they want just that.
Mary, I'm going to challenge that because we live in the age where people love to hear what's happened to other people.
Yeah, they love
We
the
just live in
stories.
that age. And I feel like you are such a vivacious character, a gregarious character. I feel people would love to see people. Come on, but I'm saying,
Oh,
this
SAT?
is the truth. I studied. But I feel like people would be interested in that because even your Instagram videos, like I watch them and I'm like, I want more of this.
Yeah.
I want more of this.
I would be ranting sometimes. I used to be a lot more unhinged, but then my following started to get so big that I started to get nervous. And then my mom was like,
get that.
Mary, I showed your Instagram to this person, and they were like, oh, she's got a mouth on her. And I was like, I've been working in kitchens my whole life. I say a lot more words than you think.
Correct.
Let me hold myself down in front of the rest of these guys. I'm 5'1.5" and they're 6 foot, and I'll make them cry.
I know that's right, period. Exactly that. Like the chicken hawk. Looney Tunes, y'all remember the chicken hawk from the Looney? Don't act. Y'all need to do your Looney Tunes education if you don't know who the chicken hawk is.
No, the little loudmouth.
Yes, the little bird who would like
and
be
there
like,
was like a big hen.
yes,
that was
foghorn, leghorn,
okay.
and he would go to grab. He's like, come here, chicken.
I mean, I was thinking Scrappy Doo, but same energy.
Okay, I'm with you with the Scrappy Doo. I was like, dang, I had to go to the archives of my mind. And I'm like, chicken hawk.
When you said chicken hawk, I was like you were trying to eat a chicken hawk, and I was trying to carry the one, and then I was
like, no, she's thinking of ham hawk.
Yes,
Ham hawk.
so I was there. That's where my brain went immediately.
Wait, Ri'chard, did you say that if you would be friends with your high school
Oh,
self?
look at you, just bringing it back. We love that. We love a good tangent return. I would, though. Like, I absolutely would. I know my high school self was a weird, quiet one, but I'd be like, get behind me, young one. And I'd be like mentoring him to be like, and this we're going to do with this, and then we're going to do with this. And then like, oh yeah, I would be best friends with my high school self. Absolutely.
Love that.
Aw, I love that. You're protecting yourself. I push myself to get into more trouble. I was like, no, just do it. Just do it. It'll be funny.
Do it for the story. We'll remember this in a few years from now.
I'll remember this in 5 years, and it's going to be great.
I mean, that's what I was actually talking to someone the other day, and it was like the reason, especially now in my early 30s, like the reason I want to go out and like do so many more things, because in my early years I really didn't. I was scared of honestly everything to try and push myself. But now it's like when I'm 60 and I like can't do anything else, I'm like, damn. We had a time. I
think this all the time. I'm gonna be like, what am I gonna do when I'm up in the house? 60 years old.
Reminisce.
Out of prunes.
Make some SpongeBob references.
Making SpongeBob. Chocolate. Chocolate. What is he selling?
I'm so glad
this
these
is normal chocolate. This is magic chocolate. Rub it all over yourself and you'll live forever. Forever, you say?
Forever.
Yeah, you'll start coming down with the chocolate.
Oh my God.
I remember my first chocolate.
I always hated it.
Oh my God.
This is gonna be. I'm already getting hot because Adriana's clothes are too like they don't breathe very well.
Oh, it's so funny.
But before we get caught into any more further tangents, again, we're so grateful to have you on the show here. And we wanted to, just for our listeners who may not have heard of you, increase your listenership and just kind of give your origin story and like how you got started in cooking, your past, your present, and your future. Kind of want to start wherever you like. Maybe what sparked your joy in cooking?
Okay. I get asked this a lot where they're like, have you always wanted to cook, or like what got you into it? And I want to tell everybody a story where I was at like my nona's knee, and then she gave me a spoon, and I just started from there. But it's not that at all. I think I started cooking out of spite. I really think that was it. My biological dad and I do not have the best relationship, but like the only real memory I have of him is that he had went to culinary school and we would cook together. And then he never graduated from culinary school, and I was like, so I guess I'm gonna. And
I love
feel like I
that.
started cooking out of spite. So I just started doing all of those things, and I'm really appreciative of my mom, because sometimes I'll think back on all those terrible things I made her, and she just ate every one of them. I was like, oh, this is so bad. And she's like, well, you tried. And she'd always take me to the grocery store to go get whatever it was, and I would study Food Network, and then I would print out the recipe, and I was like, Mom, we have to make this one today. And she's like, okay, let's do it. And I would cook for my grandmother, but my grandma's from the Midwest. We're from Indiana. I live in Texas, but we're from Indiana. So, you know, I'm making fried bologna and egg sandwiches all the time.
Listen, I still go up for. I would eat a fried bologna sandwich today.
No,
I'm sorry.
I am also.
I'm sorry.
I love a fried bologna sandwich.
Seriously.
And I've been really like playing around with the recipe to just remake it, where it's like I'm making the bread, I'm getting some pasture raised cheese, like I'm making the bologna itself, and it turns into something spectacular, which reminds me of my granny. But you know, when you get that bologna, make sure you cut that hole in the middle, because you get that cup.
Oh,
whenever
the
you're cooking it.
the crispy on the edge bologna.
And I was like, oh, we gotta fix that. But doing all that's what really got me into food. And also, I just like to eat. Like,
yes.
I was such a picky child. And then one day, I think I was like 11 years old, everything just tasted good. And I needed more. So that's how I got into cooking. I really started doing a lot more of it when I was around 16. I don't know if I still have home ec, but I was in my home ec class. And I didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up, besides either be a divorce lawyer, because my godfather said, be friends with all these people now, because in 20 years, they're all going to get divorced. and then you'll have a bunch of clients. So he told me that.
Wait,
and
your uncle told
you? No, my godfather. He was like, and make sure you keep all their numbers and make sure that you keep talking to them. Because whenever it happens, they're going to be like, who's always had my back? Mary. And I was like, that's good to know. So he wanted me to be a divorce lawyer or join the military. And my mom, she wanted me to be whatever I wanted. I think at one time I told her I wanted to be a vampire. She was like, you be the best vampire you can be. And I was like, I will, Mom. She knew I'd grow out of that.
Wait, so was your godfather like? Was your godfather like the Godfather? Because like this advice seems pointed.
He's so pessimistic. He's so like glass half empty type of person, where he's just like, men are terrible. Don't ever have a boyfriend. That's why you don't see me getting married, because I'm not dealing with any women. And I'm like, there's a lot of things going on with you.
Pretty much. It's like there's a lot.
He's got his own quandaries that he needs to solve, but he's always been there for me my entire life, so I love him.
Yeah, we gotta ride or die. We gotta keep him close.
You know, his dad, he's been telling me to join the military. He's like, you stay in there for 20 years, you're set for life. And I was like, but I want to do things with my life. He's like, do it after.
Do it after, not do it after.
Popping out at 38, being like, now my life starts here. And I'm like, I couldn't.
Right?
No.
And now my life begins. I was like, no. And boy, I got on a tangent. Well, I seem like this is kind of the theme of this podcast.
You're in the right place.
Absolutely.
You're in the right place.
Thank you. Let's see. I did hummus. I realized that I liked culinary. I joined the culinary classes. And then I remember that my mom was begging me to do my SATs. And I was like, Mom, chefs don't need SATs, okay? Chefs just have to cook. I know food. And she was like, Mary, can you please take your SATs? So I took them, and then I ended up getting a full-ride scholarship to UNT.
Hey.
So then I went to UNT.
Wow.
And then that's what I mentioned.
Oh, amazing. Well, so it would be a terrible miss for me to not bring up Hell's Kitchen, because for the people who don't know, I'm allowed to say this because I'm not affiliated in any kind of way. I think you're robbed. It should have been you. Personally, me. But Mary here was the second place, should have been first place winner of season 19 of Hell's Kitchen.
Oh, no shit. That's so cool.
And like, I'd never watched the show. I watched that season twice because it was like, you were the fan favorite. You were just the best thing about that show. Tried to watch again. It was boring as shit. No offense, Gordon Ramsay. Please don't cancel us.
Or yell at us.
Or that. I'm actually more afraid of being yelled at.
Yeah, I don't want to, I wouldn't be able to deal with it.
I would cry. I would cry on command.
Yeah, I think that's why I didn't necessarily watch, because I just get secondhand embarrassment, and I get like secondhand like
anxiety and all that.
And stuff. But that is so cool. That means you are like under the pump. You can handle yourself.
You know, I can hang. I can do some things. Hell's Kitchen was exciting. It was a wild ride. It was like, I was excited and terrified every single day. And it was definitely like a culinary boot camp, because you're doing something 6 days a week. Like, we were recorded for 3.5 weeks. The only days off you had were Sunday, and it wasn't really for you. It was for the cast and the crew that had the cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
So on Sundays, they would sequester us in a hotel room, and they would take us out one by one, because you're not allowed to know who's in what hotel room, because you'll talk to each other.
Yeah.
And there was like no phone, there was no internet, there was no TV, there was nothing. You had to sit there in silence. My radio was working, and that's when like Megan was really getting popular, so I was just like listening to a lot of Megan Thee Stallion.
Yes. Oh, love her.
Always gonna hold a place in my heart.
Same. It goes Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion. Yes.
I tell everybody call me Mary Lou the Pony. You know, she's like, I'm just short. I'm short. That's what. You know, she's 5'10", I'm 5'1". I was like, we're practically the same person.
You just flip those numbers around.
Mary the Pony. Mary the Pony.
That part.
Right.
You just put a sick beat on that, and then I'm on it. We're going.
Yes. Oh my God. Platinum, double platinum.
There it is. But when it comes back to Hell's Kitchen, I like that I got second place. At first, when it happened, you know, I was crying a lot, and then we're in like that room where they're talking to you about like the confessionals. And I remember they're like, Mary, can you say how you feel right now? And I was bawling, and I was like, how the fuck do you think I feel right now? And they're like, Mary, I can't take this to keep crying. And I was like, I'm a loser. I'm gonna keep crying. And they're like, can you please wipe up your tears and just say something nice and we'll end it. And I was like, okay. And I was like, you know, if I lost, I'm glad it was to Corey because I liked her. But when I went back and like rewatched it, because she started dating somebody, and so he wanted to watch it. He's like, I'm not going to watch it without you. And I was like, don't watch it with me. It's weird.
Yeah.
I watched it, and I see what Gordon saw. Like, I wasn't ready. I didn't have the confidence that I have now, and I got that confidence because of Hell's Kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And even though, I would have ran that fucking restaurant fantastically, at that moment that you're watching it, I don't think I showed what needed to be seen, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I showed somebody who needed to be pushed to be great and not somebody that could be great on their own. And if I'm running his restaurant, he's not going to be behind me saying, hey, Mary, do this. Do you want to be great? It's just going to be me standing by myself. So if I were to do it now, it's like, I can run your restaurant now. I feel great about this. But also, I'm like a martyr because, you know, Corey's got here all the time. You know, I really like you, but I think Mary should have won. I was like,
Exactly.
I never have to hear with Mary, you know what? You're really good, but Corey should have won. No one's ever said that to me.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, we'd fight them.
Never even read it online.
They'd also be liars. So,
Yeah.
But even like,
They would be liars.
even so, the confidence you said you've grown, it's been apparent in your social media presence, just like everything you're posting and doing and your pop-ups, and it's just all fantastic to see. One of the things I wanted to ask you about was Geeks and Grubs specifically.
Geeks and Grubs. Geeks and Grubs is my baby. She started in 2020 during the pandemic. She was like always there, but I just never had any time because, you know, I'm running a full restaurant. I was working like 60 hours a week, and I was fine with it. That's just the life that I chose.
Mm-hmm.
But all my friends were too. And then I was living in Texas during the pandemic, so, you know, we were wilding. I only lost my job for like 12 days. After that, we were back. And in those 12 days, I was like, you're going to put on pants every single day, and you are going to do something. So it started with me asking my mom and my family, because I was quarantined with my family. After the show had ended, I was supposed to go and work with Gordon. But the show didn't air until the next year because of the pandemic. So I let my lease expire, and I got stuck. So I just stayed with my mom, and I was like, Mom, if you can go anywhere in the world right now, where would you go? And she was like, I'd go to Spain. And so then I went to the store, and I bought everything to make a Spanish-inspired dinner. And then I asked the next day, where would you go? And my sister's like, I want to go to Greece. So then I went to the store and bought everything and made like a Grecian-inspired dinner. And then we did Cuba, and we did Italy, and I made them dress up to dinner. And I said, if you do not dress up to come to dinner, you cannot eat.
Yes.
Like,
oh, I love that.
Everybody had to dress up. So it started with that, and then I reached out to my friends who had lost their jobs too, and I was like, hey, remember when I told you I wanted to do this? Can you help me? And my one friend was a photographer, and he's like, yeah, I'll do it with you. I'll take pictures. My other friend was a videographer. And then my last friend, who's Jess, who we went to college with, she does all my artwork. And they're like, yeah, I got you. And that's pretty much how it all started until the pandemic was slowly ending. And then everybody, except for Jess, wanted to be paid. And I was like, well, I'm not making any money. I don't think I can pay you anything now.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I guess this is how it ends. And so then Geeks and Grubs kind of took a hiatus because I didn't know how to film myself. I didn't know how to edit. I didn't know how to do anything because they had always done it.
Mm-hmm.
So then I had to teach myself, and then I'd watch the video I edited, and I'd watch the really nice one they edited, and I was like, it's garbage, and I wouldn't post anything. I have 8 videos that are edited, and I think they're garbage, and I really think they're garbage now because I've gotten so much better.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I still hate editing. There's 6 videos that I need to edit right now for YouTube.
God, I get
haven't
that.
done it. I was like, somebody else do this? And that is how Geeks and Grubs was born.
That's so cool. So just to clarify for our listeners who may not know, so Geeks and Grubs is like a YouTube.
Oh, did I not? I went all around. The
That's okay. That's all right.
It was
That's all right. That's all right. No, don't apologize. No, you were in it. You were in it. You were telling us about like where your mind was at, how it came to be. I love it. I see the passion in your eyes talking about it. But yeah, just to put a bow on it. Elevator pitch.
Little razzle dazzle. So I cosplay. And what I wanted to do was make the foods that I see in the different fandoms. I don't want to subject it just to anime because there's Disney, there's different comic books, there's video games, and I really just wanted an excuse to cosplay, an excuse to cook, and I wanted to bring them both together. And the whole thing was supposed to be like G&G, like D&D, because I wanted like the nerds to have their name. So then it started with Geeks and Grubs. The original name was going to be like Geeks and Gastros. No, Geeks and Gourmet. That's it.
Ooh, yeah.
But then my friend was like, it doesn't have the same ring to it. So there's a small tangent that I have where on YouTube there's Geeks and Grubs, but then there's just Grubs, and then there's also Geeks and Gourmet, which is me making gourmet versions of something. For example, of a video that I still haven't edited. So I did something for My Hero Academia, and I had dressed up as Miracle, and she's like a bunny character.
Yep.
And there's this whole thing on YouTube, but they also have little cards at the very end of each of the episodes or each of the commercials. And on the card, it'll show their favorite food. And so I started saving everyone's favorite food and making my own versions of their favorite food. And Miracle's favorite food was carrots. So then I made this carrot ravioli with pureed carrots inside of it. And then I also dehydrated the carrot tops. I juiced the carrots. And then I made that into a sauce with butter, kind of like a carrot beurre blanc to put on top of it. And it just turned into something big. And I used the carrot tops. I was like, this is great. And
I didn't even know carrots could be ravioli. I'm learning so much right now.
You can do so much. Yeah, as soon as you can, once you puree the carrots or once you juice the carrots, all that pulp, dehydrate it, mix it with your dough, and then you turn into a carrot dough. And then the parts that you peel of the carrots, those are dehydrated, put a little seasoning put on top, and there's a nice crunchy element to the carrots. And it was really fun, and I started doing a lot of that. But then my mind just started to get, I don't know, maybe it's just ADHD, but there's too many things going on.
Sister.
And then I couldn't do anything because I just had so many ideas, and I was like, help.
Fair.
Me.
Drowning too much.
Yeah.
Yes. I started drowning in everything, and then I was getting new ideas, and there were more cosplays, and there were more video games coming out, and everyone's like, try this and try that. And I was like,
y'all gonna help me? Yeah.
So now I'm just, working it one by one. I started writing them down. That's what really helped.
That is the key. That is the key, because ideas will always pop, but then you have to follow through and like, ooh, a new idea. And it's like, oh, look at that pile of unfinished ideas over there.
Gosh.
Eventually you'll get to that.
Just sitting there in the corner. I'm like, I'm coming back to you.
Yeah, but that's all right. Sometimes with our brains, like I said, you, my sister, and ADHD, we neurodivergent. And we I see you. I think task avoidance actually works best for us. Because when we have too many things on our plate at the same time, it's just too overwhelming. So sometimes it's good to have some ideas that are waiting over there for you in the corner, and then when you finally have the means to do it, you could do it correctly, rather than being like, I gotta do this thing because I gotta do it now. And then you end up doing it, and you're like, yeah, I'm not happy with how that turned out.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's 100%. And that's how that video went, because I had to do it a couple of times. And the thing is, after I do it once, I don't want to do it anymore.
Don't want to do it again. No repeats. No repeats.
And then I'm like, I have to redo this because I either need to get this shot or I change the recipe and I have to write the recipe down, but I don't want to sit down and type up the recipe. That's what Frankie was for. Frankie was over there writing all the recipes down. And now she lives all the way in freaking Spain.
The disrespect, honestly.
How dare you, Frankie?
Oh, actually, but speaking of international, I know you've done a lot of pop-ups in the Bay Area where you are currently, and a few in San Antonio. But what do we have to do to convince you to come to Australia? Because the way in which the food here is, how would you describe the food in Australia, Nicole?
Okay, I can only really speak for Melbourne, but the food game here is amazing. I'm sorry. It's just like even the lowest level, like scratching your last few cents together, you can get something really fantastic. Because since it's a big island, a lot of the food is grown here. So lots of things are really fresh. I mean, if you are into meat, like the beef, it's some of the best beef that you can get because of the cattle that they have here. And then not everything is pumped full of hormones.
Yep.
So you can actually really taste it. And these restaurants, cafes are in competition with each other. The standard is very high. The standard of food is very, very high. So
you made me a little nervous at first.
Oh,
when you had taken that pause, and I was like, I've heard nothing but great things
about
the food there, except for tacos. That's the one thing that I don't
Mary, hear. I swear.
Yeah, go on. Have your rant. Have your rant.
I swear. It is really hard to find good Mexican food here. I don't know what they need to be. We need to solve this issue. We have all the right things here. I don't understand where the breakdown of communication is at. And then I went to a place I had been referred to called Hotel Jesus.
Oh, yeah. On Smith Street.
On Smith Street in Collingwood. And people were like, you got to go there. It's going to be great. And it was very a la carte. The tacos were really small, so you just order like a whole bunch of stuff off the menu. And then I saw horchata, and I'm like, horchata. And I ordered it, and it was good, but it wasn't, there's something missing. And the same thing with the tacos when the tacos came out. And I'm like, please. And did it. And then I'm like, ugh. It's so close, but it's like not all the way there. No. It's just missing something.
I think it's the love and the grease at the same time. I feel there's just not enough. There's not enough grease in the food because everything is so, like, it's good. It's very healthy food, but also a little bit of grease. A little bit of love, a little bit of, this is a family recipe. Like, I made this with love. You're going to eat it, and you can taste it. Like, someone worked hard here, not like someone followed a recipe to the T and then put it out there.
I need them to be throwing seasoning on the food. Like, just whip that, like, just until your arm gets tired. You put the seasoning, you put the flavor in there. I need them to be having more of that. And I feel like they're just like, oh, we don't want to make things too spicy. We don't want to make things, you know, a little too too flavorful because some people's tummies, they can't take it. And so I feel like they hold back a bit. And
I love that, especially with the words of the youth tummy. Yeah. No, I was in there. MC.
Tummy is often used. Yes,
often used, but it's just like, it's just they hold back when it comes to it. However, yes, the rest of the food, I think they do it really well. Really good Greek food. Amazing Greek food here. Like, very well done.
Yeah, the Greek food, the Italian food. Because Australia itself does, like, white Australia itself doesn't really have its own cuisine, unless you want to call, like, snags, like, which is just sausages and bread. Like, I wouldn't call that its own proper cuisine. So a lot of it is just international food, but...
Correct. It's like, what the immigrants brought over.
A lot of the things that you make would, like, you'd corner the market, and I honestly think you would just make a killing in it. Like, you could just be like, just put an application as a joke, and I honestly think you would get sponsored. And they're like, do everything here, please, because they are desperate. Like... I think, I don't know if you've looked into it at all, but I genuinely think you can walk out like, this is who I am. I want to cook for you. I think people will be throwing things at you. And the quality of life here is incredible. I'm not sure how much, because I know Frankie lived in New Zealand for a little bit. I can't remember if she was in Australia as well, but I think it was mainly New Zealand. But the quality of life here is... New Zealand, luxurious, lovely. Their quality of life is great, but you pay more here. You get better quality of life, Medicare. It is a great place to be. And I'm honestly trying to recruit everyone I can because it's hella white. It's real white, but it's getting less white by the day. Like, we were talking about this on a previous episode. Like,
I have a question.
Yes.
So,
yes, Mary, your question.
So, if I were to move over there, what is the scene like for the opposite sex? Am I gonna find myself a nice man in there, or is he gonna be taken aback by all the smell in it?
I mean, I think people are gonna be pulling up. I think people are gonna be pulling up. Like, you are going to have your pick, because in my opinion, my partner is Australian and we've been together for a good amount of time, but I met him in the States. And then when I moved here, I'm like, oh, I get why we got together. Like, it makes a lot more sense. Not dissing the girls here or anything like that, but Australian culture as a whole, like, a lot of people like to be the same.
Yep.
People don't necessarily venture out into being different or unique. People are trying to stay in this kind of the same lane that, you know, their friends do, that their mom did, like, because that's what's safe and that's what they know. So there's not a whole lot of risk taking when it comes to, like, personality and stuff here.
There's not that many big personalities.
I think you would come here, Mary. I think they might elect you mayor. Or something like that. They're just going to like you so much. They're going to be like, put her on TV.
I co-sign that fully.
If you don't want it to be scary, make sure to vote Mary. It needs a little more work, but it's coming together.
No, it's perfect. I love it.
You got my vote.
I love it. Vote for Mary.
Vote for Mary.
Vote for Mary. But when it comes to the boys, I think it's the same thing. I think the ones who are not... The ones who are brave enough to get on the ride, you appreciate it.
And they will ride all the way to the end. I can, but
I love that.
Because, like, I've been single off and on this whole time that I've been here, and my experience, like, I was mostly reserved. Like, the energy, the confidence I have came from me just being like, everyone here is scared to be themselves, so I have the space and comfort to do so. And doing so has made me some of the greatest connections I've ever made in my life. Like, some people I've met here in the last, like, 5-6 years are on par with people that have known me most of my life in America. Like, you stand out, and the ones who are similar, like-minded will be drawn to you, and you'll form this weird, huge mega circle of people who are just doing the whole thing. And And I've never felt more people admiring me or flirting with me or whatever you want to call it, just being myself in a space until I got here. And it's not even like a fetishization. Like, yes, that is still absolutely a thing. Like, there will still be people fetishizing you, but there's a lot more appreciation than there ever was in America, in my point of view.
Wow. Okay. I'll just have to figure out who's going to do my hair.
Oh, my gosh. I get that. That's why we had the whole entire hair episode, because felt.
It
absolutely
it is like we're making some great, like we've actually sent a lot of people to LV Studios after having that episode. So if you come here, the reason we do this podcast is to give people the plugs of where you should go, where you shouldn't go. There's this, that, and the other thing, and recommendations. We've been here for almost 15 years combined. I made that up. That's a little bit high. But 10 plus years.
You said it so confidently.
We've been here for 10 plus years together. So our experience and our network, like, absolutely is not a thing you should worry about. I came here by myself, knowing no one, knowing nothing. I remember everything I learned and gathered and connections.
That was so brave of you.
I was terrified. So Latrell was supposed to come with me. So Latrell's one of our mutual friends. He was supposed to come with me. Yeah. He bailed last minute, like, for money things.
Texted me today too. Hey sis, where you working at now?
Hey Latrell.
As soon as he catches up, he'll be like, "Oh shit." But no, so Latrell was supposed to come with me, but I think it was a financial thing. And also Michael Moore, do you remember him from UNT?
I remember the name, but not him.
So Michael Moore was another RA at UNT with us. He was all supposed to come with me, but he pulled out last second, which, again, is fair. It was a very scary thing to just up and leave for what was going to be a year, and it turned into 7. But I was supposed to come here. It was like me, Latrell, and Michael. We were going to show up. We were going to do the damn thing. But I'm actually really glad that they didn't show up. Like, I would have loved to have had them here, but not having that safety net and push me to do more by myself and be like, this is who I am. Because if it was me and Latrell, he'd be like, hey, let's go to Sydney. Let's do this. Like, we would probably have moved as one, even though, like, there was no obligation to do so. I would be like, I'm bored of this. I'm going to leave. I'm like, well, does that mean I have to go too? I don't. And then it's like that weird conversation. So I'm really glad that didn't happen. But knowing what I know now, having the network that I do, I would do it all over again. And I would encourage a bunch of people, because I'm happy to be a starting point, a reference, or anything people need, like how to do CVs here, what, like, time to transport. Like, that's what the podcast is. But also when someone's here, we can just sit down and talk for hours, as opposed to like the hour and a half we have on our episodes.
Heard that. That's good to know. Actually, I think I do remember you guys were supposed to go together. I remember Latrell was supposed to go somewhere, and then that's all I remember about it. And I was like, da-da-da-da.
Yeah, do-do-do. But no, it absolutely, like, even if nothing else, come check it out, see how you feel, because anyone who visits is like, oh my God. It's a real place, because a lot of Americans think Australia is fake for some reason. Like, it's a conspiracy theory.
They think it's not real.
Like, I've seen a lot. Have you not seen? I'll send you a video. People are like, Australia is fake.
Like
it's
the
not
flat
made up.
earthers?
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty much.
The flat brainers, pretty much, because I don't think those people are.
No, they're not firing on all cylinders.
Can we go to the Shire?
The Shire.
I would like to go to the Shire.
It is gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. You definitely have to do that. Like, I'm not trying to convince you to come visit like next week, but you should visit soon.
We're planting the seed, Mary.
Yeah, just plant the seed. Let it ruminate. Let it grow.
Let me get the outfits together for the photos, my cosplay photos in the Shire.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Must be done.
That's so
great.
That's so good. Yeah, because I guess it was last month or January when my bestie, Shannon, which is so funny. The parallels are crazy.
Also has a bestie named
best friend, Shannon.
I thought your best friend was Sherry.
Listen, I spread it around. Sherry's my best friend from high school. Shannon is my best friend that I met in adulthood, essentially.
Yeah, adult besties.
Okay, so I was like, no, Shannon was my best friend. I was like, story.
But what if it's the same Shannon?
What if it's the same Shannon? That would be great. That would be great. That would be amazing.
Like, what the damn hell?
It would be the Spider-Man pointing meme. But when she finally got the courage to come out here and visit me, she was like, do you mind if we go to New Zealand and go to the Lord of the Rings set and everything like that? And I was like, dude, let's do it. And we went there and saw all the Hobbit holes and everything. It is so beautiful. It's breathtaking, lush, green, little goats and horses and stuff. And then they even have where you can drink in the tavern afterwards. I was living my best life.
Oh, the prancing pony.
I was living my best life. It was so freaking cute.
Absolutely. 10 out of 10 would do again.
Yeah.
Maybe not the way I did it, just because like I proposed at Hobbiton, which was
drunk?
no.
Oh.
No, it was like I used a great proposal at Hobbiton, and it was like, now I can't redo that. Like,
Oh no!
it was like the engagement ring was the one ring. It was personalized, did in front of Hobbit Hole. It was this whole cute thing, and it's like, damn, it's on the internet as well, so I can't. It's like, hey, babe, let's go to Hobbiton. It's like, well, it won't be that, but yeah, no, absolutely fantastic, gorgeous, and it is as beautiful as it looks. So another selling point for you. Just do both stops. Just pop on down. Just give a little look. Just do it.
Just go to New Zealand. I'm supposed to be going to Thailand in September.
Hey.
I was like, they're not that far apart, right?
That's like maybe a 6 to 8 hour flight.
Yeah, it's still like an 8-hour flight to Melbourne.
Because I'm going with Frankie, and I was like, Frankie, we should just take a month off. And I'm like, let's just go to Thailand. And after Thailand, let's go to Vietnam. And then after Vietnam, we go to Japan. And then we go to New Zealand. And then we come back to the States. Well, she goes back to Spain, and then I'll go back to Spain.
Yeah.
They're all right in that area, right?
Yeah.
They're around.
It's the general vicinity.
They're in the hemisphere.
Yeah, I literally just Googled it. It's a 8-9 hour flight direct from like Bangkok to here. So it could be done. It's not as bad as going to America from here. Like from here to LA is like 15 hours nonstop.
Yeah.
And going to Europe is roughly 24 hours. So you got to stop in a bunch of different places. The longest flight in the world is 20 hours, I think. And that's from, I want to say Dallas to Sydney.
Yeah.
I think it's Dallas to Sydney.
So.
And that's one of the longest flights in the world.
And
so
you would never catch me on that.
Yeah, I also won't be because I would get stir crazy. I'm like, are we still in the air? Like, I'm a professional sleeper on planes. I can just be like, out, wheels up, done. But 15 hours, I wake up, I'm like, are we still just over the water?
Listen, drug me.
Still here.
Pump me full of.
Get going.
I was like, did I bring the portable charger?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
They got everything for you on the plane, but you just gotta have it locked up here.
You got to be ready for that length. So, like, being here, like, that's the one.
Sorry.
And girth.
Sorry.
I forgot what I was going to say, so I'll just, after you, Nicole.
Oh, no. Okay, do you have other questions?
Actually, so the next thing I wanted to ask you about was where you get your ideas for your pop-up. Because I know the one I was really sad that I missed was the Pokemon-themed one. And that looked so cool. If you want to, talk about that briefly. Yeah, I just saw that. I'm like, oh, my God, that menu looks amazing.
The whole thing was, so it started out with me, recreating the foods that I saw, but I didn't really want to do that anymore because, one, eventually I'm coming out with my own cookbook, and I can't call this Naruto's Ramen without getting sued.
Yes,
yeah,
you'd be sick to hell.
It's like, thank you. I was like, I told myself once I get a cease and desist, that's how I know I made it.
Yes.
But, I don't want to just change everything. So then it was like, how do I make this mine? So then I kind of started making things inspired by. So I would take either something I saw, like there was definitely Brock's Jelly Donuts on the menu, but I was also just doing things that I liked. So this one has a braised slowpoke tail curry, which was just an oxtail curry. And my curry that I like to make is like a cross between a Jamaican and a Thai because I like certain things from it. And the Brock's Jelly Donuts, I wanted to take, because, when you're watching the one in actual Japanese, they say onigiri, but when they made it in English, you can't say onigiri because 9-year-olds are like, what's that? So that's why they said donut. So what I wanted to do was actually make the jelly donut. So I took the umeboshi paste, which is what they used in the original because you see the little purple in it. So it's just umeboshi. And I don't know if you guys have had it before, but a pickled umeboshi plum is it's very sour, very salty. I think it's delicious, but it's nothing that you want to eat a bunch of. So I got it, pulverized it into a jam, mixed it with serranos and raspberries and some pectin, and it came out slightly spicy, sweet, salty, sour, and I stuffed that inside the onigiri, and then I fried them just how you would, like a donut, and then I coated it with a little bit of tare so that you're having kind of a sweet but also savory sensation. So I wanted to give you part of me with part of it, and that's how the pop-ups were more born because I wanted to provide something else. Like, I have a decent following on, TikTok and Instagram, but a lot of it is from people that saw me on Hell's Kitchen that just want me to cook. And then a small majority of it are the fans that follow me because they like my cosplay and they like the food that I make from it. So in February, I did the whole 29 days of Black cosplay, and I lost 2,000 followers.
What?
Yeah. But it's
all
fine. I'm getting rid of the people. Yeah, people don't want to see that. And I'm like, but that's me.
Yes.
If you don't want to see it, then you don't have to. Because I also gained 2,200 followers. So
There
they
you
just
go.
like,
Yes,
they
what?
just switched.
On the
And I was
door,
like,
yeah.
this is what I do. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to cook. Sometimes I just cook. Like, I made a pot pie, and I made a video for a pot pie that I'm going to post on my story. Sometimes I just want just grub. But
Yeah.
sometimes I see something, and I get inspired. I have, like, 4 recipes that I need to post. I swear I need to post these things. I have them already. And they're all based off of Avatar, so I made my own version of Flaming Fire Flakes. I made something that I feel like I would get at the Earth Kingdom, which was like a coated lamb. Fuck, what did I coat that lamb in? I took it off of the bone, and then I made a stock out of the bones, and then I like made that into a sauce, and I was like, this feels very Earth Kingdom to me. And then I made these kimchi wings for the Cabbage Man, because I was like, no, praise the Cabbage Man.
My cabbages.
I did like 3 different versions of something I feel like I would have in the water tribe, and one of them was like a crudo with like a coral twill, and the other one is just salmon that I dyed blue with pea powder, and I wrapped it up, and it looks very elegant, and that's more of like the gourmet style. And sometimes I just get these ideas and I cook them, and then like I said, I'm like, okay, done, next. And I was like, Mary, you need to write these down, because this is the cookbook. These things that I do at the pop-up, those are what's turning into the cookbook. And the fun things that I do on my channel that are still inspired by all of this is going to be what's in my cookbook that I'm trying to get completely organized by the end of this month. It's just going to be like 10 recipes to see how it does.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I'll probably do a Kickstarter for something bigger. And I want the whole book to be like a video game, kind of like you're traveling through the different realms until you get to the end. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I won't talk too much about it because Beyonce said best revenge is your paper. So,
Hey, come on now.
I was like, people don't need to know all my ideas. That's how they be snatching.
Yes.
1,000%.
Totally.
And if you don't copyright it, someone's ready to snatch it.
Absolutely. I have a few thoughts. Number 1, shout out to Oxtail, because we
Nicole had a moment. You were telling your story, Nicole was like, Oxtail. She got lost.
Seriously. Number 2, I should have ate before I came here. Because my mouth, I am salivating, thinking of all of these. Get like I'm like, yes, I want some of that. I want the jam donut. I want that with the sweet and sour plum. I want some of that. Give me some of them kimchi wings. I want some of those too. That sounds.
Man,
it sounds like.
Can I just tell you?
Yeah.
Them kimchi wings, there was everything.
Oh, I know they were.
My cousin was visiting me at the time. She's like, Little Mary, because my mom's Big Mary. She's like, Little Mary, can I have one of these? And I said, yeah, I got to go to work. Here, eat them. And then she took one, came back, took the whole plate. And I was like, they're good, aren't they? She's like, I like these. And I was like,
you tan them up.
I was like, eat it. I like to watch people eat my food. I was like, yeah, eat another one. It's good, isn't it?
Oh, man. Oh, I listen, anytime you need a taste tester, I am your girl. I can't be of any other assistance or help. I can't be of any assistance or help in the kitchen. I apologize.
That is true. Entertainment.
But taste testing, enjoyment, I got you.
Oh, I just need you to be honest with me, and that's it. Like, if it don't taste good, you gotta let me know.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Actually, so speaking of food, like you mentioned lamb. Lamb is actually super popular
Yes.
here. Like, it's one of the main meats that people are cooking.
It's one of the main meats. You like lamb?
Stop.
You like lamb?
Stop this.
I make you lamb.
Can't. But one of the things that people don't really know about that we eat here occasionally is kangaroo. How would you use kangaroo?
I've never used it before, but I've seen it, and the meat is so red. It's so vibrant.
Yeah, it's a very red meat.
So what is it similar to, like texture-wise, like a cow?
No, I don't think it's like a beef. I would say it's probably most
Closer
similar
to
to
deer.
venison.
Yeah.
To venison, so like deer. So it's like very gamey.
Oh, okay. Usually whenever I get anything that's gamey, I try to find some way to sous vide it, and that really gets rid of a lot of the gaminess. I would work on, I probably would do one of everybody's favorites. Whenever I have something, a new type of meat, I always make something with a chimichurri because everybody loves chimichurri.
Ooh.
Yes.
So I would probably work on that. I would like to get the chops or even do a roast out of the side. Yeah, let's get let's get a roast going on. Yeah, let's make a kangaroo roast. That sounds really fun. Oh my gosh. And then I could like make the plating like he's still in his natural little habitat. That would be so funny.
I would love it. I would eat that.
Forget the chimichurri. Chimichurri is gone. We are making a
that
roast,
quick.
and it's gonna be delicious.
Nicole wants both. She's like, can we go back to chimichurri?
Please, can you know
We can have both, okay? We'll get the chops, and then we will sear the chops, and then we'll make a chimichurri to put on top of the chops.
Oh my
Everybody likes that.
That sounds so good because
Nicole does not like kangaroo.
I do not like kangaroo in any way, shape, or form. So
because it's so gamey?
Because it's so gamey, because it's just not my jam. However, I would absolutely try a Mary original of some kangaroo. I would try. I would give it a go.
Yeah, we would just have to add some more fat into it because it's going to be so lean. But that's fine.
I personally really enjoy kangaroo steak. Like, it's not beef tier, but it's very close for me. So, like, any variation of a kangaroo, I'm down to clown, mostly because I think the shock value of people knowing that we eat kangaroo is pretty high. Like, when I told my little nephews, I was like, are the kangaroos there? I'm like, yeah, and we eat them. And she's like, what? And it's like, well, yes, are you going to be a vegetarian? Because it's still an animal. Because they're basically pests here, like especially in the outback outside the city. They breed like rabbits, essentially, and they're everywhere. If you are in the middle of nowhere, you have to have the high beams. There's signs that say kangaroo crossing, and they will fuck up your car.
They will on purpose. They're pretty crazy. They're like pretty crazy.
They're playing games with it, too.
They are. We've had a lot of kangaroo propaganda growing up. We were like, oh, they're so cute. They're hopping. They're in that place, Australia, that may or may not exist. But yeah, when it comes down to it, they're actually pretty insane.
Yep.
So, and there's nothing taking them out. Like, there's not like a kangaroo eater.
There's no natural predator for the kangaroo.
There's no predator here taking them out. So they're just kind of doing their own thing.
What about koalas?
Oh, koalas. No, I haven't had a koala meatball in a very long time. No, I'm kidding.
Stop.
Never. I'm just kidding.
I was like, so you do eat them?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, they're very much endangered and very much
chlamydia filled.
I mean, hey.
I was like, is it chlamydia or syphilis? I know.
It's chlamydia. I think Tasmanian devils have syphilis, I think. I'm pretty sure Tasmanian, because I remember when I went to go see some Tasmanian devils, like they had some stuff on their face, and they're like,
that's the face tumor.
Yeah, that's the face tumor.
Yeah,
so like, it's not cute like Taz.
That's how Al Capone. He never got it treated.
Correct, exactly. He never got his syphilis treated, and it drove him mad.
Oh, look at that. I mean, maybe that's why Taz was spinning. Let me stop. Let me stop.
Oh, I like that. That's good.
A whole ass mess. Oh, one other thing I wanted to talk to you was about your cosplay, because again, the 29 days of cosplay, fantastic.
Elite.
Do you have any new ideas coming? Like, what are you working on? If it's a secret, that's fully okay. But what have been some of your favorite ones to do?
So, what I'm working on right now is I've always wanted to do Galadriel's armor from Rings of Power. So I really just want to sit down and do that build. I know it'll take me a while, but I've really committed to it. I don't know if you guys have seen Blue-Eyed Samurai, but I really want to do Mizu. So I just think that's amazing. Also in it, there were 3 recipes that I wanted to try, and I was like, let's save that.
Yeah.
I just started watching that cute new video from Disney Plus, and it's like, Ikiju, Iwuju, EW. Either way, there's it's a Nigerian cartoon.
Oh,
and
yes.
At the very beginning, she's got this recipe book, and she's looking up. She's
Puff recipe.
Puff. And so I took a picture of it, and I was like, "What's this recipe? I want that." So those ones are the ones I'm excited for. I've been trying to plan for October. Usually, the cosplayers in October, you just do something really silly for the whole month, and I kind of wanted to do half of the month would be me doing my Gordon Ramsay cosplays, where I just dress up in a yellow, a blonde wig and a similar outfit. And I just have them side by side because those are always funny.
Yeah.
But then the other half, I really want to do a lot of Doja Cat looks. Yes. They're always so interesting.
Yeah.
And there's been 3 or 4 outfits that my one friend said she could make, and she ain't made yet for me. And I was like, if you don't do this, I'm gonna have to get somebody else to do it. But I really want to do a mixture of those. And so those are the 3 cosplays and the whole idea that I have. Maybe for Halloween this year, I'll be the chairman from, what is it? I was going to say Food Wars, but that's not what it, not Game of Thrones. Hold on. Iron Chef, there it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's so hard. Because I love to wear a bald cap, and I just feel like I'm going to wear a bald cap and a suit and then he's like carrying an apple, and when he's about to take a bite out of the apple, he doesn't bite out of the pepper because he's there for flavor. And I was like, all my friends will think that's hilarious. They're like, are you the chairman? Yes. A la cuisine.
Yeah.
A la cuisine. A la cuisine.
I could not. Like, that's one of the things that when I lived in America, I didn't have the money or the time for cosplay because it always looked so cool, but it was just like, I'm trying to work to survive and get to that point. Now that I'm in a better position, I can do a little bit more cosplay. So, like, that's something I want to find more time for. But, like, watching you go to the all-black Comic-Con convention, what was it called again?
DreamCon.
DreamCon. Like, I want to go to that one day.
And that one's actually in Texas. So.
When is it?
Hold on. I think it's like the first week of August. Yeah, because it's the end of July.
Yeah.
Because I'll be in Texas for my birthday, but instead of being there for my actual birthday, I'll come a week and a half late. So then I'll say hi to my mom, and then I'll drive to Austin and go to the convention over there.
Yeah.
And just hang out with all my black friends. We'll do black things. But when we did go to that convention last time, I brought my white friend with me. And it was great. He fucking loved it. I was Fox and Cleopatra, and he was Austin Powers, and he had the best fucking time of his life.
Yes.
Everyone was playing the wobble. He's all at the front leading it, and I was like, yeah, come back. No, he's gone. He's gone. I was like, no, he's loved to wobble since culinary school. Just let him go.
That's so good.
He's wobbling for you.
Like that is on my list of things. So the San Diego Comic-Con's on my list, obviously, but DreamCon is also on the list. I only heard about it through you, like when you posted about it a little while back. I'm like, oh my God, that's the dream. Anytime you do cosplay here, you're going to be one of the only brown people doing it, but that just means you have to do it more often because representation definitely matters. And I try to do more characters, like either make them black or the ones that are already black that don't really get enough love anyway. So that's one of the things I've been loving to do. And again, you being here would be another notch on the let's make things more inclusive. Let's show people what it actually looks like. So again, further encouragement to have you out.
When it comes to the cost of everything, one thing that I'm very appreciative of is a lot of people in the community just like to see people cosplay, so they'll buy a coffee, like KO-FI, and they can donate money. So it'll be like $3-4, but enough people donate, then you can pay for the materials, or you can pay for the cosplay, or it's in people's wish list. Like, I know I have my wish list, and there's a few cosplay things in there, and if people get those for me, it's like, hey, thank you so much. Thanks for contributing to my art. Because they're like, I just want to see you do that. Here's $10. And I'm like, thanks.
Oh, that's so good.
That's incredible. I love that. And it's also like, because again, it's a very expensive hobby to be having, especially when you make the piece yourself or you buy them out. Like the shipping, once again, shipping is an enemy of the state. Trying to get anything sent here.
Don't you still have like a Power Rangers costume
I'm still waiting for, yes. So
dang.
I got there was an online site from, I think it was like maybe in the Philippines, where you give them your measurements and they're like, you can pay the money and there's like an extra $300-400 for the expedited rush. And they're like, oh, it'll get you there in 6 months or so. Otherwise, you can just wait. I'm like, I'll just wait. This was 2 years ago. My measurements are not the same from 2 years ago. I know for a fact I'm going to get that and have to have it taken in, but I'm still waiting for that suit. I probably got scammed because there's so many people who are mad because they've been waiting 2 years, however long. And I'm like, I'll just wait because I can't do anything else. You already got my money. And I was like, I hope that I get this suit, but I don't know that I'm ever going to get my Black Ranger suit.
Damn, I can just hope and pray. What color is it?
It's the black one. I had to go for Zach. Zach was my favorite, even though they made him break dance fight, which felt problematic when you rewatch it because he's like everyone his star episode is like, I'm gonna break dance fight these putty, and he's doing backflips and electric slides, and they're just getting knocked all over the place. I'm like, stop this. But also I loved it. I ate that shit up in the 90s.
Have you gone and seen the things on Instagram or TikTok, and they're like, man, why did we really think these people were doing stuff when they're younger, and you're seeing that's so great and dance, and you're seeing people from Camp Rock, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why was this the best thing ever? And I was like, it's terrible.
Yeah, especially Camp Rock. Especially Camp Rock. They're doing all this stuff. I'm like, we really thought something was happening there. Oh, Save the Last Dance. Save the Last Dance. We also thought that last scene was just hit.
Man.
She was hitting it.
Bring It On 2 with Hayden Panettiere and the trumpet.
Oh my God. Shout out to Hayden Panettiere.
When I watched it, I was like, this girl's getting it again. And then I went back and I was like, oh.
And then everyone's hyping her up too.
I can feel the shame.
You know what? Now I'm wondering, I wonder if Bring It On, I wonder if the cheerleading, both of the cheerleading routines, I wonder if they hold up.
In the first one, yes.
I feel like they would.
In the first one, yes.
I wonder if they
the
hold
other
up.
ones
I'm afraid
are
to watch
okay.
it now.
No, I wouldn't rewatch. If it didn't go to the theater, just watch it with one closed eye, or like a scary movie. Same way I watch scary movies, just like, is it over yet? Like, it's definitely one of those.
I'm like a sympathy killer. Like when you get embarrassed, I feel it.
Yep.
Yes,
I am all the way there with you.
I get secondhand embarrassment, and I get secondhand like, oh, this poor person.
I love to. It's like a car crash. You can't not watch it though. You're like, oh, please stop. But also, you're still doing it. Okay, this is happening.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's so funny.
But did you have any questions you want to ask Nicole before we wrap up? Because I didn't want to like. You wanted to shoot off or anything?
Well, I mean, sorry, I'm still thinking about the food, so
I'm with you. I mean, it's part of my life. So.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask what your favorite dish is to cook.
One of my favorite dishes to cook, I like to make a steak. I think it's very simple, but I make a really good steak, so that's always my go-to. I always have one in like the freezer. One of my favorite foods to eat is I love a crab boil.
Yes.
And I'll do a crab boil all the time. I really wanted to do one today, and I was like, no, you need to finish these 3 recipes for the book so you can take these pictures. Because I was trying to recreate the magic carp sashimi, and I was like, but I want to have a crab boil. I don't want any raw.
I don't want to do no work. I want to have a crab boil.
I'm tired, Grandpa.
That's 2 days ahead. That's all I heard. So, but tomorrow will be the crab. No, I have to make a recipe for these people. Sunday will be the crab boil.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Absolutely. But before we sign off, do you want to like plug any of your events, or just plug your socials, your YouTube, your Instagram, whatever you like? This is your opportunity.
Okie dokie. All right, everybody, you can catch me on Geeks and Grubs. That's spelled just like it sounds, Geeks and Grubs. And that's going to be on TikTok. It's going to be on Instagram. My recipes are on geeksandgrubs.com. But my YouTube is the only thing that's different. It's Geeks ampersand Grubs. And if I would have known how badly that would have affected me, I never would have did the ampersand. I would have just spelled out and.
They didn't let you change that.
No, they will not let me change it unless I started everything all over again.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
Come on, that's foolish.
Because after I made the first episode, people were like, I can't find it. And I was like, type in Geeks and Grubs. It's right there. And I was like, oh, I'm putting in the ampersand sign. Everybody else was spelling A-N-D. And it's like, no, well, it won't come up like that. Not until the channel gets bigger. They'll be like, you mean this? Yeah. Always Geeks and Gamers comes up. And I'm like, no, it's not about you anymore.
It's me. Eat. Don't game. Monsters don't fulfill you. There's no nourishment there. But once again, thank you so much for your time. We know it's getting late and you got to wrap up, but this has been incredible.
Yes, so much fun.
And we look forward to all your new updates when your cookbook comes out. We'd love to have you back to get updates on how that's going.
Absolutely.
And we'd love to have you here again. Yes. Just planting the seed.
Double plant.
Just planting the seed.
Yeah,
water it.
That.
Hey, bring the whole crew.
Honestly, bring the whole crew. But that's pretty much all that we have. So until next time, I'm Ri'chard.
And I'm Nicole.
And this has been Melanated in Melbourne.
See ya.
This has been Melanated in Melbourne, a podcast that analyzes the Australian lifestyle from the lens of 2 Black American besties. Visit us at melanatedinmelbourne.com or follow us on Instagram to send us your comments or questions. Thank you for listening.